Tonight, promising legislation.
If there's anyone else out there that's doing this to animals, come clean, because we're going to catch you.
The Premier's plan to ban testing on dogs and cats.
Go with the mice, go with the rats.
Plus, a cash infusion for home building.
We're ready to put those resources in the ground to build more housing in this city.
A multi-million-dollar provincial payout. And pushing their luck.
You want to lose your leg or what?
Safety concerns after a railway stunt.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with a heavy police presence on Western's campus this afternoon for a weapons call. London police say they received a call around 3 p.m. about a weapon at the Weldon Library. More than a dozen police vehicles arrived, including officers in tactical gear. According to police, after about a half hour of investigating, they determined there was no threat to public safety. Premier Doug Ford was in London today announcing plans for legislation to ban experimental testing on dogs and cats. The Premier got involved personally after whistleblowers raised concerns over how dogs were being treated in research projects at St. Joseph's Healthcare. According to the group Animal Justice, most of the dogs involved were puppies used for cardiac research.
You can't be experimenting on dogs. They're part of our families, or cats. You know, go with the mice, go with the rats, no problem. But these are pets, and these are, no, it's done. You can't do it anymore. Now I'm going to start looking for everyone else. If there's anyone else out there that's doing this to animals, come clean, because we're going to catch you. And it's just terrible. You can tell I'm an animal lover, but it's just terrible what they're doing.
The Premier's announcement follows a rally this past weekend. Advocates have been calling on St. Joe's to release the dogs to local organizations. So far, the hospital has revealed no plans to do so. Brent Lale reports.
St. Joe's, let them go!
Dozens of protesters continue to demand the release of dogs used in research testing at St. Joseph's Healthcare.
This is the second protest that we've done, and we're going to keep on coming out until we know for sure that these dogs have been released.
The rally comes just days after advocacy group Animal Justice sent a media release looking for answers on when and where the dogs will be rehomed.
They're definitely at high risk of being just euthanized right now, because they are in there, they're being housed, which is costing the hospital money. The hospital doesn't like to do that. And the cheapest and fastest and most effective way to get rid of the dogs would be to just dispose of them.
CTV reached out to St. Joseph's for a reaction. We were forwarded a statement which read, "The dogs are being cared for by animal health professionals under the responsibility of Western's compliance veterinarian and in keeping with Western Animal Care Committee and Canadian Council on Animal Care Standards of Care." They added these dogs are no longer involved in any scientific work. Veterinarians, in consultation with the ACC, will determine next steps and timing. This group is also asking the government to pass legislation making it illegal to test on human companions.
There's no actual rule saying that you can't. The hospital just simply agreed to it. So until the laws are actually passed, it's going to continue.
Release the dogs now!
I want to say something about the whistleblowers. They are a very important part of this process. If you are working in a facility like this, we would encourage you to come forward and give us more information about what's going on in other hospitals and research centers around Ontario and Canada. And if you are involved in this sort of work at any level, we would ask you to actively protest this and to refuse to be a part of cruel treatment of dogs and cats in research in Ontario.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
The main reason for the Premier's visit was to announce more than $10 million in funding for housing initiatives. With more on the money and how it will be used, here's Lauren Stallone.
The province is awarding the City of London today with nearly $12 million through the second round of the Building Faster Fund.
2 years ago, our government established $1.2 billion Building Faster Fund to encourage municipalities to speed up approvals, issue permits, and get shovels in the ground faster.
The program provides funding to municipalities that achieve at least 80% of their provincially designated housing targets.
The City of London achieved 95%, which is outstanding, of its 2024 housing target.
The province says the funding will help London build more homes and community infrastructure.
Our goal is simple: to ensure more people can own their own piece of Ontario, their own piece of Canada.
Housing Minister Rob Flack says the announcement addresses the issue of housing costs in the province.
There is a clear demand and a supply issue. Recently, because of these conditions and general market uncertainty, we have seen the housing market come to a standstill.
Mayor Josh Morgan says the money will be groundbreaking for the future of London.
We're ready to put those resources in the ground to build more housing in this city, whether it's downtown, whether it's our transit villages, along transit corridors, or out in new parts of the city.
The government is also helping to speed up the construction of new infrastructure, including streamlining development processes. This is through the Protect Ontario by Building Faster and Smarter Act 2025. Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
Government officials also announced 2 local organizations are getting more than $2.5 million for skills training that will focus on construction jobs supporting workers impacted by American tariffs. Literacy Link South Central will receive close to $2 million for apprenticeship programs, while the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers will get almost $700,000.
But we need to talk about what we can do here in Ontario to create the environment and the conditions for people to create more jobs, just like the beer bonds have, and investing into the people. That's what we're doing right now. We're putting another $2.5 billion in total in skills development fund. It's absolutely critical.
Good evening. A cool start to the week, feeling fall-like across the region. Temperatures averaging about 4 to 6 degrees below where we typically are this time of year. It's a bit breezy out there. Temperatures in Midwestern Ontario 15 to 17 degrees. In London holding at 20, our high for the day. As we head through the evening, some scattered showers continue. We have some cool air in the upper atmosphere, and we have daytime heating, and that leads to scattered showers with this upper troughing pattern over the Great Lakes. We have a little bit of rain coming into London in the next hour, so expect some showers to push through. The rest of the region we'll see some scattered showers through the evening, a bit of fog developing overnight, and getting cool. If you have your windows open, keep them open. The temperature dropping off, so cool and comfortable conditions continue. We'll be at about 14 degrees by midnight. I'll take you through the extended forecast, and temperatures holding fairly steady this week. More to come.
Thank you, Julie. A crash east of Dashwood sent 2 people to hospital this morning. Here on OPP say the crash involved a pickup truck and an SUV. They say one driver was airlifted with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. The second driver was taken to hospital by land ambulance, but their injuries are not thought to be serious. All roads were reopened by 2:30 this afternoon. Fast-acting neighbors helped 2 people flee a burning home in East London last night. With more on their escape and the ensuing firefight, here's Sean Irvin.
Flames and smoke pour from the roof of a home on Arcadia Crescent in the Fairmount subdivision shortly after 9 p.m. Sunday evening. Among those alerted by the commotion was this nearby resident.
We were watching TV and, all of a sudden I said, boy, this noise is too close.
Moments later, she saw the flames.
Speechless, like they were coming like you wouldn't believe.
So quickly that the 2 seniors living inside the home were unaware that a fire was raging in the ceiling.
The occupants, because the fire was above them, did not know that the fire was on at that time. They were alerted by neighbors knocking on the door.
Both escaped unharmed.
Thank God they are safe and they are out.
With the residents accounted for, firefighters did their best to save the home. The blaze was brought under control within an hour, but crews remained on the street until daybreak.
It was a very stubborn fire because the fire was contained within the roof area itself. And the crews did a fantastic job on a very stubborn fire to knock it down as quickly as what they did.
The scene was held into the afternoon hours as investigators combed through the scene. Damage is estimated at $600,000. An official cause will take time to determine.
It was awful to look at it. Sad, the whole thing.
In London, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
London police say they're investigating a series of recent shootings, releasing photos of vehicles they say are linked to those incidents. As Reta Ismail reports, the city is now on pace to surpass last year's gun violence numbers.
For the third time in just 2 weeks, London police are investigating shots fired in the city. They've released images of 2 vehicles believed to be connected to a shooting last Friday. Gunshots rang out around 2:45 in the afternoon near Oxford and Talbot Street. Officers later found property damage nearby on Piccadilly Street. That incident just one part of an escalating series of investigations involving firearms.
We understand the impact that it has on the community, the sense of well-being. We understand the sense of fear that it creates. So we do prioritize every incident of gunshots, firearms, and thankfully in this case there were no injuries, but it still doesn't lessen the fact that we have people mobile in our city who have access to firearms and have discharged them.
Last Monday, a home on Foxridge Crescent was riddled with bullets after someone opened fire. And in East London, a shooting on Fieldgate Circle sent one person to hospital with serious injuries. A vehicle of interest has since been located, but no arrests have been made in any of these cases.
It's definitely of concern. We have noticed the uptick. It's been 3 incidents in the past 2 weeks, and it is in our purview to examine the reasons for that, as well as develop a response to that. It's a priority of not only our Safer City initiative and our business plan, but it's what's right to do as far as ensuring a sense of safety for our citizens.
These incidents come as the city has been showing promising signs in reducing crime.
There's crime out there. That's why we've made historic investment in the London Police Service. That's why the chief has a new operational plan. That plan is in the mid part of it being deployed and implemented. And as we implement that plan, we're going to start to get ahead of this.
Still, Mayor Josh Morgan says it's a constant effort to stay ahead of the crime, and recent events highlight why those investments matter.
We do see a lot of positive stats, though. We see response times coming down. We see the crime severity index is actually coming down, whereas it's going up in other cities. And we see the resources that are being deployed in the downtown actually starting to take effect.
Police are appealing for witnesses in all 3 cases, asking anyone with information or dash cam footage to come forward. Reta, Ismail, CTV News.
Police are trying to identify a vehicle they say may be linked to a shooting in Toronto that killed an 8-year-old boy. The shooting happened August 16th, a stray bullet fatally striking the boy who was in bed with his mother at the time. Police released images yesterday of this vehicle, believed to be a white Acura. Investigators have not said how the car was involved or where and when it was last seen. Sarnia police are looking for tips trying to crack a cold case from the 80s. Police say Morag Davies was found murdered in her home on August 25th, 1988 in Sarnia. They say an unknown suspect attacked her in her bedroom, fatally stabbing her with a weapon that has never been recovered. Safety advocates are speaking out after video emerged this weekend of a man jumping onto the side of a moving train in downtown London. As Brent Lale reports, it's a dangerous stunt and illegal.
Video shows a young man testing out the speed of a moving train in downtown London. Moments later, he returns and jumps on the side, riding it for a few meters.
They were taunting the train, basically, tons and tons of heavy metal, and they were touching it and playing with it.
Christopher Bogle is often the eyes and ears in the city's core. He took out his camera and started recording.
They saw me filming. I even yelled out to the one guy,
"You want to lose your leg or what? Or your life?"
And he thought it was a joke.
The incident is the third notable one involving rail in the past week. A person was charged with surfing on a Via train in eastern Ontario. Then in White Rock, BC, video showed a woman and multiple children crawling under a stopped train rather than waiting.
Our mission at Operation Lifesaver is to try to get to zero. So 0 crossing incidents, 0 trespassing, 0 deaths, and 0 injuries. And unfortunately, we have some work to do to get to zero.
According to Operation Lifesaver, rail trespassing incidents are up 46% this year over the historical 5-year average. Serious injuries related to rail trespassing are up 250%. A CPKC spokesperson says fines could reach up to $50,000. And climbing and riding train cars and other equipment is both illegal and extremely dangerous. A month away from Rail Safety Week and just days from Western University students returning, safety advocates warn against trying to impress friends or gain social media clicks.
With frost weeks happening, we know that southwestern Ontario has a ton of rail and is a hot spot for incidents. So we are reminding people to do their part to stay safe by staying well back and staying off the tracks.
As for Bogle,
This is almost a deja vu a few years ago.
it was then when he witnessed a woman carry her child over a stop train at this same location. Both incidents could easily have been fatal.
When he did jump off, you could tell he sort of slipped a bit, and that would have been it.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
A new play is premiering at the Blythe Festival this year, telling the story of a local media mogul who built one of Midwestern Ontario's best-known brands. With more, here's Scott Miller.
Just say you love me and want me.
The visionary behind starting a TV and radio station in the middle of Midwestern Ontario is the focus of a new play at the Blythe Festival.
This is a trailblazer, an icon, someone who left an indelible mark on this community. I think really changed the culture of the place and invited us to think about and celebrate who we are in the place where we live.
Garrett plays W.T. Doc Cruikshank in Radio Town, the Doc Cruikshank story, now on stage at the Blythe Festival. In 1926, the self-proclaimed tinkerer turned his own home-built radio transmitter into a national media empire based in Wingham. Cruikshank was the mastermind behind CKNX, first on radio and then on TV, making Wingham the smallest town in Canada with an actual television station. CKNX launched the careers of musicians like Shania Twain and Earl Haywood, and broadcasters like John Strong and Paul Hunter.
That's where we found out where the snow days were and all of that, and it's like joining back in this long-standing tradition and learning so much about it that I honestly did not know. It's been a real pleasure.
CKNX still exists today, 99 years after Cruikshank started his media empire of an old school overlooking Wingham. Some of the artifacts from CKNX's past, including the CKNX Barn Dance and Circle 8 Ranch, are on display for patrons to peruse during Radio Town's run until September 20th.
It sort of gives our patrons a more immersive experience as to what the barn dance was like. There are lots of people in the community who either attended barn dances or played and performed in the barn dances.
A focus on rural Ontario was and still is one of the calling cards of CKNX, a lasting part of Cruikshank's vision.
One of the amazing things they had on the station, of course, was the agriculture hour. I mean, he wanted to put farmers front and center on your dial, and that was radical thinking at the time, right? This was somebody who wanted to reinvent the way we thought about ourselves.
In Blythe, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Coming up, the Prime Minister makes stops in Poland and Germany, trying to strengthen our defense connections with Europe.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's latest.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVLondon.ca, your home for news.
Rock the Runway is landing at the London International Airport September 12th and 13th. Enter at CTVLondon.ca for your chance to win a pair of VIP tickets to see Noah Khan, Miles Smith, and more on Friday, September 12th.
The minister is in Europe right now, announcing a new strategic partnership with Poland today, part of a broader plan to strengthen Canada's ties across the pond. With more, here's Abigail Beeman.
The Maple Leafs on your shoulders, they feel hope.
Prime Minister Mark Carney stressed to Canadian troops in Warsaw and European leaders Canada is ready to spend big on defense.
We will quadruple our spending on defense between now and the end of the decade.
Not only promising to meet NATO's 2% of GDP spending target by this year, but the new target of 5% by 2030.
We have your backs. We're serious about this.
Carney bringing his defense minister along to many European meetings, including the trip to Ukraine, which marks a shift from the past.
I think what it indicates is that the landscape has changed. I think Canadians know that the landscape has changed, that the geopolitics are changing, that the threat landscape has changed.
David McGuinty says Canada's defense plan needs diversification.
We're not only making a diplomatic visit, but we're really interested in diversifying our alliances and our defense investments, and having Minister McGuinty there puts an exclamation point behind that.
Diversification. We've heard that word a lot from the Prime Minister about trade, too, given the trade war with the United States.
Poland needs reliable partners that are ready to cooperate closely in the nuclear energy sector and also as regards RES, renewable energy sources.
Poland has the fastest growing economy in the EU, and the two leaders recommitted to an agreement signed last year, but now focusing on trade, energy, and defense.
Our trade relationship last year grew by something like 22% in a single year. So the appetite is really there. It also means that people are kind of knocking on our door more.
And from Warsaw, the Prime Minister ends his day here in Berlin with a full day Tuesday focused on those same themes, deepening trade and defense ties. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Berlin.
A banner year for Canadian women in sport, marked by another big win this past weekend. Golf star Brooke Henderson won the Canadian Open, completing a major comeback. John Venevalley-Rao reports.
For Brooke Henderson, it was a moment to embrace after a masterful performance on home soil.
The comeback is complete.
The pride of Smith Falls, Ontario, back on top and showing once more why she's Canada's most successful golfer ever.
This week was beyond special. To be able to finish it off and hoist the trophy again is extremely cool. It feels super surreal still.
The win marking her 14th on the LPGA Tour and ending a 2-year drought. She first won the Canadian Women's Open in 2018, and to do it again at age 27 is remarkable.
I'm just super excited that this actually happened. It's like a dream come true again.
You can't help but reflect on how, the young up-and-coming talent has been inspired by Brooke's accomplishments.
Look at McIntosh go. That accomplishment follows others by women athletes this year.
Isn't she amazing?
Including Toronto's Summer McIntosh, who made a splash in Singapore, claiming 4 gold medals at the World Aquatics Championship. And then there's Victoria Mboko, also 18, who weeks ago stunned the tennis world, winning at the Canadian Open in Montreal. Though today fell short of expectations as she appeared at the U.S. Open for the first time, dominated by her Czech opponent, a 2-time Grand Slam champion. Still, for Canadian women in sport, overall, it's been an incredible and inspirational run.
What we can speak to is hoping that this is going to change participation rates for girls in sport in the future. If they can see it, they can be it, and they can be the next Brooke, Victoria, or Summer.
As for Brooke Henderson, she kept saying her latest victory seems surreal, adding it was a huge win for Canada and Canadian golf. John Venevalley-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
In John's story there, he mentioned the first time Brooke Henderson won the Canadian Open was in Regina. And actually, I was working in Regina at the time. I saw her play that weekend. It was a really cool experience to get to go watch a golf tournament.
Absolutely.
A lot of fun.
I love that story. So many talented women in sport. And that's
doing big things.
Doing big things.
Julie's doing big things in the weather center for us. It's a little cooler this week.
Definitely. Fall-like. It's feeling cool across the area. If you have your windows open, and you did this morning, you would have noticed. But if it's chill, I love this Rotary Cove Beach in Goderich, because you can see the rain coming down if you look at the cloud cover out over the lake. That's fantastic. Taking a look at Grand Bend, not a great day to be on the water. It's been quite cool right across the region. 20 degrees in London, milder than near the lakeshore, that's for sure, and 12 degrees are low. 24 and 13 is what's normal for this time of year. At the London airport on the hour, just dipping a degree now to 19, and the winds are starting to ease off. We do have some showers coming into the area, some light rainfall, and a few pockets of heavier rain. Now, these showers that are coming through are associated with troughs of low pressure, so that's just an elongated area of low pressure. The main upper trough spinning over the Great Great Lakes and continuing this flow of cool air. So you can see some heavier pockets of rain, so the possibility of a thunderstorm will linger as we head through the evening. The probability will drop a bit overnight, but just staying unstable. So what the trough does, it just promotes this rising air. And in terms of the cool air aloft, it brings us the rainfall at the surface. So this weather pattern will weaken tomorrow and slowly drift off to the east. There's still a slight chance for a few showers, especially in Midwestern Ontario. In London, about a 30% chance. High pressure will briefly be building into the area. Western Canada's baking. Temperatures soaring this afternoon. Heat warnings widespread across Alberta. It is hot, and it will continue to be hot through the week. So temperatures expected to be in the low 30s. Northwestern Ontario feeling the cool fall-like air, and that spreads its way right across southern Ontario. Maritimes anywhere from 18 to 20 degrees. So as we go out 36 hours, the rain coming into London this evening and some rain tonight, and then breaking back out to partly cloudy skies. Heading into tomorrow morning, mix of sun and cloud. Showers in through Huron and Perth County first thing in the morning, and then in the afternoon, still some showers around, so just unsettled. We'll clear right out for Wednesday. Wednesday will be a beautiful day, mainly sunny, although temperatures through the week will average below normal. The next weather system comes in late Wednesday into Thursday. It's a cold front that will be approaching, and it will bring the chance for rainfall as we head through the day Thursday, with the greatest probability coming late in the day Thursday. Overnight, cool. Temperature will drop down to about 10 in London, 12 to 13 near both Lake Huron and Lake Erie, and some cooler spots. Mount Forest, KW, you dip into the single digits. 13 degrees first thing in the morning, 18 by noon hour, and the high coming in at just 21, so about a degree warmer than it was this afternoon. Our Metal Roof Outlet forecast, full sunshine Wednesday, showers on Thursday. Thursday night, some rain as the cold front comes through, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We're getting ready for the holiday weekend, Labor Day weekend, featuring a mix of sun and cloud. Temperatures averaging a bit below normal for this time of year. As we head into the holiday, though, 24 degrees, nice and comfortable, low humidity, beautiful weather for those who suffer when it's hot and humid. You love this forecast, I'm sure of it. Temperature-wise, over the next 7 days, again coming in below normal. Lots of sunshine Wednesday, some showers moving in for your Thursday, and looking beautiful for the holiday weekend. Now, the cold front that comes through on Thursday, that brings a reinforcing push of cooler air, so that will keep us a bit below normal. But all in all, looking good under a mix of sun and cloud. Probabilities over the long weekend in Midwestern Ontario, about a 30% chance of showers. No weather systems coming in Carlyle, but just instability as the cool air continues to move over the Great Lakes Basin.
All right, Julie, thanks very much. Still ahead, Air Canada customers filing complaints over the recent strike advised they may be in line for a while.
Brett Kissel is heading back to the Forest City to celebrate 20 years of London Music Hall.
We got tickets for you all week at 8:35. Make sure you're listening or don't, and we'll make fun of you for not going to the show.
Good luck tomorrow.
The union representing Canada Post workers says the Crown Corporation canceled a planned meeting for today. According to the union, Canada Post canceled the meeting because officials still need more time to review the union's latest offers. No new date for negotiations resuming was given. Canada Post also scrapped a meeting with the union late last week for the same reason. Air Canada customers trying to file complaints over the recent strike-related travel disruptions are dealing with significant wait times. According to the Canadian Transportation Agency, there was a backlog of complaints in the 85,000 range before the strike even began. That's been building since the federal government introduced new rules in 2019 for delay and cancellation compensation. Transportation Agency officials say a new system was put in place in 2023 to increase capacity to deal with complaints, but the number of grievances has also grown. Small business advocates say the federal government's decision to drop some retaliatory tariffs on American products will help many of those business owners, especially when preliminary estimates show Canadians are spending less this year. Tyler Barrow reports.
Peggy Rayfuse owns Imagine Vintage Wear in Inglewood. She sells an assortment of secondhand clothes and accessories.
This summer they've been down for sure.
Down the street at this jewelry store, it's a similar story as people are putting off the luxury purchase.
First, they have to think about the kids, the food, before they think about anything else.
Statistics Canada says retail sales rose 1.5% to $70.2 billion in June, helped by increased spending at food and beverage retailers. However, July is looking like a different story. Preliminary estimates point to a 0.8% drop. According to the Canadian Federation of Independent Business, the federal government's decision to drop retaliatory tariffs should help some small businesses.
Small businesses have told us that Canada's retaliatory tariffs were actually the most damaging to their business, second only to the tariffs on steel and aluminum.
According to the Federation, approximately 20% of small businesses can continue to operate for only another 6 months under the current tariff environment. Their data was collected prior to Friday's announcement. One Inglewood business says they are feeling the impacts of the tariffs.
I do think the tariffs have affected it and probably lost me some sales where people were worried about what was going to happen with bigger ticket items.
The CFIB forecasts a decline in spending by consumers to continue in the months ahead. Tyler Barrow, CTV News, Calgary.
A new report on workplace morale has coined a new term describing burnout and stress. It's quiet cracking and comes before quiet quitting. The report found more than half of employees experience quiet cracking, a feeling of workplace unhappiness that leads to giving less effort and doing the bare minimum while at work. The authors say both quiet cracking and quitting are responses to extensive burnout and workplace stress. Canada's main stock index was weighed down by losses in the industrial and financial sectors today. The TSX is down 163 points in New York. The Dow fell 349. The Nasdaq dropped 47. The Canadian dollar up 1/10 cent today. On commodity markets, gold fell $1 an ounce. And oil gained $1.14 a barrel.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
Later on CTV News, a Nova Scotia man setting his sights on a record after his Toyota tops 1,000,000 kilometers. Welcome back. Harvest is underway for many farmers across the country, and already there are concerns on the prairies about this year's yield. Alex Karpa has more on the impact of a dry summer on Canadian crops.
You never had that before, that you have ripe oats on top and green stem or even green leaves on it. They're still mushy.
Farmer Thorsten Stanze is starting to see the impact a dry summer is having on his crops.
Oats like this green in the stem, it's very hard to combine.
The lack of moisture is being blamed for a very short crop, below average for what it normally should be.
Farming is a poker game. So in this year, the cards, I think, dealt against us. The yields are not great. They're a little bit under par, but not great.
Yeah, this is a corn crop, and normally this time of year it would be, 6 to 7 feet high.
Like Stanze, Doug Martin is also seeing his crop struggle ahead of harvest, but not all is lost. While there is nothing he can do to salvage his wheat crop, he says recent rains could help out his corn and soybeans.
They're harvested much later. Like corn, you don't really start harvest till after the middle of October. So you can see here the corn is still green and still filling. So there's potential there for this rain to help.
It's not just hot and dry weather throughout the summer that has had an impact on Canadian farmers, but some Manitoba farmers I spoke to say China's recent canola tariff will have a significant effect on their bottom line. The latest duty is bringing forth uncertainty for canola farmers at the beginning of harvest.
What it will do is have a depressing effect on not only the price, but the marketability later on when production is in the bin for farmers to sell it. It's not a good situation for them.
Canola seed production generated $12.9 billion in 2024, making it the most valuable field crop in the country. Stanze, who produces around 2,000 metric tons of canola each year, is worried.
It's a big moneymaker normally, but if you're losing that market, then it's very bad.
If nothing changes, Stanze says he will reduce the percentage of canola he'll produce next year. Alex Karpa, CTV News, near Morris, Manitoba.
Authorities in Nova Scotia have expanded an evacuation order because of threatening wildfires. The Long Lake wildfire started burning August 13th, and it's now grown to about 32 square kilometers. The Nova Scotia Emergency Management Department has ordered people living in the West Dalhousie area to leave their homes. There are 4 active wildfires in the province. The Long Lake fire is the only one currently considered out of control. Canadian health experts say vaping is not an effective method for people trying to quit smoking. According to a task force report published today, smokers are recommended to use other nicotine replacements like inhalers, patches, or gum. Smoking rates have declined in recent years, but tobacco remains the leading cause of preventable disease and death in Canada. A new study suggests a Mediterranean diet lowers the risk of dementia for people most at risk. Researchers studied more than 5,700 people over 3 decades, finding people with a gene linked to Alzheimer's disease who ate a Mediterranean diet lowered their risk of dementia by at least 35%. The diet is rich in vegetables, fruits, nuts, fish, and olive oil. The study published in the journal Nature found people with the gene putting them at risk appear to have distinctive metabolic profiles that dramatically respond to healthy nutrients in the diet. A new survey suggests Canada's border and spy agencies are among the worst federal workplaces in the country. Just 46% of employees polled at the Canada Border Services Agency said they would describe it as a great place to work. CBSA employees also felt worse than the overall public service when it came to issues like work-life balance and receiving recognition for their efforts. The Canadian Security Intelligence Service scored slightly higher. 48% said they would recommend it as a great place to work. A historian in Saskatchewan has been trying to reconnect war medals with family members of veterans. Allison Bamford has more on his latest search, which actually took him overseas.
So we have the France-Germany Star, we have the Atlantic Star, we have the Africa Star, we have the Service Medal, and then the 1939 War Medal. So this was what's called a full set.
A full set of Second World War medals and a couple black and white photos tell the story of a man in uniform.
The uniform he was wearing showed he was an officer, so that gave, he must have been in service quite some time. The medals tell the story of where he served and what he did while he was serving.
His name, George Mann, a British sailor in the Royal Navy. John Brady MacDonald came across the veteran's belongings in an Edmonton medal collection.
I reached out and managed to get them into my care and began the search of trying to track down his family.
The search spanned 4 months, garnering hundreds of tips, eventually leading to a connection all the way in Liverpool, England.
When they do and the pieces of the puzzle start fitting together, it feels like mission accomplished.
We're all delighted and a little bit shocked, really.
Jane Craig never met her great-uncle, only hearing bits and pieces from her mother.
I knew of him and obviously knew that he was in the war, but that's all that I really knew.
Mann came from a big family with 4 brothers and 5 sisters. He immigrated to New Brunswick after the war, marrying Alice Margaret Silver in 1948. Pieces of a story Craig wants to complete.
We'll definitely be able to now delve a little bit deeper into it.
The medals and photographs are now on their way to England. When they arrive, this will be the 11th set of war medals that MacDonald's returned. He's still searching to find the homes of another 3 sets.
Let's ensure that what they witnessed is never forgotten again.
And MacDonald's actions aren't likely to be forgotten either. Allison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Thank you to Steve Robinson for this photo taken in on the French River. Air mass is cool, temperatures dropping and feeling like fall across southern Ontario. We have a cold front that will roll through on Thursday with a chance of showers, but temperatures will average a bit below normal over the next 7.
Authorities in Gaza say Israel recently killed at least 19 people in a strike on a hospital. 4 journalists are among the dead working for the Associated Press, Reuters, and Al Jazeera. Israeli military officials have said they carried out a strike near the hospital, claiming they regret harm caused to uninvolved individuals. They also claim they don't target journalists intentionally, stating they try to mitigate harm as much as possible. New figures show U.S. border guards are ramping up searches of electronic devices. Data from the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Agency shows almost 15,000 devices were searched between April and July. That's the highest number since 2018. The vast majority of travelers checked were not American. The searches typically involved an agent looking through the device's contents, with advanced searches conducted if agents believe someone broke the law. Authorities in Manitoba say they've recovered the body of a Norwegian hiker who went missing in the wilderness. The 29-year-old was declared missing on August 14th when his dog arrived at his final destination without him. According to the RCMP, his remains were discovered during a ground search not far from where his jacket was found on Friday. They say his body has been transported to Winnipeg for an autopsy. Oasis kicked off the North American leg of their reunion tour in Toronto last night. Liam and Noel Gallagher performed in front of a sold-out show last night. The set list included all of the band's best-known tracks, including Wonderwall and Supersonic. It also included a sudden downpour, soaking the crowd through the back half of the concert.
Amazing. Totally worth it.
And all the complaints are overblown.
About the venue, that was...
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Getting in is fine,
Yeah,
going home
totally.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Excellent.
It was amazing.
What was the highlight?
We liked Supersonic.
Yeah. And what did the guys look like out on stage?
They look like they always have. There's no change. They look like they haven't aged.
It was wonderful. Yeah.
What made it so amazing?
Just how big the stadium is. They sounded great.
Yeah, what did the guys sound like?
Incredible. Better than they ever have. Amazing.
Toronto is the only Canadian stop for Oasis on this tour. They're playing one more show tonight at the same venue before heading to the U.S. An artist in Montreal is battling a rare bone disease causing her chronic pain. However, as Christine Long reports, she's taking that pain and using it as inspiration for her latest work.
Sandra Woods' watercolor pigments sparkle with flecks of amethyst and garnet.
You should be able to see some shimmer around here, this area.
While she works, she wears a dynamic splint on her right hand. It's a necessity.
I was struck with a rare disease that causes pretty severe chronic pain, potentially bone and joint issues, which is why I wear this several hours a day to prevent the bones from melting.
Painting through the pain, Woods uses the splint to her advantage.
So I'm holding the paintbrush with my thumb. And if I'm using a larger brush, sometimes I'll stick the brush under here and paint like an extension of my hand if I'm using an easel.
She's won awards for her work that reflects her personal experiences.
People with chronic pain will often talk about experiencing a wave of pain or a flare of pain. So this series focuses on waves and volcanoes, so kind of eruptions of pain or flares of pain.
Woods founded the West Island Art Studio Circuit, including 11 artists who all have talent and a story to share. For the month of September, selections of their work will be on display at Studio 77 in Point Claire Village.
As a disabled artist, because of my cognitive impairment, I wanted to prove to myself, but also to other people who might be having cognitive issues or disabilities, that we can still do things and we can still be involved and we can still be leaders in our communities.
Studio 77 has always been an open hub for artists and their admirers, says owner David Epstein.
All the artists picked up on it and they bring their friends, and it became a place where the artistic community basically gets together.
The collection runs all next month with the vernissage on September 21st. Christine Long, CTV News.
It's Jeb Keefe and Backstage Ben from Virgin Radio, and we're sending you to London's largest outdoor festival, Rock the Runway.
Tickets are on sale now, or you can listen to us on 97.5 Virgin Radio for your chance to win Noah Khan tickets.
Welcome back. Two actors recently relived a famous scene from one of their films from 40 years ago.
Hey, so we Kennedy, so we better.
Matthew Broderick and Alan Ruck famously teamed up as best friends in the 1986 classic Ferris Bueller's Day Off. They attended a minor league ball game in Vancouver this past weekend. They weren't there to heckle any batters, though. Instead, they led the crowd in a rendition of Take Me Out to the Ball Game. They're reportedly in town shooting a new movie together called The Best Is Yet to Come. And finally tonight, another blast of 80s nostalgia. The Maritimer and his beloved vintage automobile still hitting the highway with more than 1 million clicks on the odometer.
I bought the car right around 1990. I bought it in Halifax for $2,500. It's an 85 Toyota Tercel, and it's probably in better shape now than when I bought it. It's 1,256,000 kilometers, and it's going strong. We were on our way to Prince Edward Island when it rolled over, and I was keeping a sharp eye on the numbers on the odometer there. Had the camera all ready. When it started to come with the 9s, I pulled over to the side of the road and I took pictures of the 9s because I knew most people would never believe me in time to come that it had 1 million+ kilometers.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
When you live out in the country like this, no matter where you go, if you go for a coffee, it's not hard to put a lot of kilometers on quick. We don't like to sit around here all the time. We go for a drive in the evenings or whatever. It's been all over Nova Scotia, all over New Brunswick many times, Prince Edward Island many times, Newfoundland a couple of times. I'm from Louisburg area in Cape Breton. All of my siblings are down that way, so 3-4 times a year I would always make it a point to get down to visit them. It has 1,256,000 some kilometers right now. And I don't think I'll live long enough, but I'd like to get to 2 million. If you don't want to talk to people, you shouldn't have a car like this for some reason, because wherever you go, it's a great conversation piece. And I don't mind talking about it either.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. I'm back tonight with your late news at 11. Bye for now.